Trekkies, hold on to your warp drives, because today, Star Trek 4 just received a jaw-dropping, galaxy-shaking update set in a time before the legendary Enterprise. It's charting fresh coordinates for an epic new journey through the stars. Star Trek, a franchise that's practically a warp core for sci-fi fans, has been exploring galaxies far and wide for decades. With 12 television series and 13 epic films, it's no stranger to the vastness of space. The last time we saw Star Trek on the big screen was with Star Trek Beyond in 2016, but the news of this new reboot has fans across the galaxy buzzing with anticipation. In the Starfleet command reports, or in this case, Paramount, has officially greenlit this pre-Enterprise project, and the team behind it is coming into focus. Simon Kinberg, a name already familiar to fans of galactic sagas, through his work with Disney's Star Wars, has been assigned to navigate this Star Trek reboot. He'll produce the film, acting as the helmsman for this mission, and the script? It's in the capable hands of Seth Grahame-Smith, while director Toby Haynes, known for his work on Andor and Black Mirror, will be steering the ship through. Pre-production. Well, we're just getting started, because I have a bunch of hot, sizzling, big as a vortex updates for you about our beloved Star Trek 4 in this video. We're going to talk about Star Trek 4's jaw-dropping update, from the dangers facing the franchise to the silhouette of what the story might be. Yeah, we've got ultra-exclusive news for you that you won't find anywhere else, so keep watching. The danger of Star Trek 4. The new Star Trek reboot has a mission as challenging as navigating a nebula, especially with Star Trek Beyond now nearly a decade in. Our rearview monitor having only achieved a modest box office return, while the series has continued to expand through its TV ventures, experiencing both highs and lows along the way. It's clear that Starfleet Command and fans are ready to launch Star Trek back to the big screen with all the warp speed excitement of a true blockbuster. The stakes are high for this one, and choosing an origin story set before the Enterprise era is a bold move. It's a path that could either be as successful as First Contact or as tense as a Klingon standoff. By setting this story before the legendary starships and iconic captains, the reboot frees itself from the gravity of its legacy characters. This shift creates a clean slate, a blank star map for the filmmakers to chart a fresh course that honors the Star Trek legacy, while also delivering something new and engaging for today's viewers. And it's a setup that invites new recruits into the Star Trek universe, a new generation who may not have ventured through the original series or past films. This pre-Enterprise reboot is designed to welcome both the young and seasoned into a familiar yet unexplored quadrant of the Star Trek galaxy. Strack Trek, strangest reboot ever. One interesting rumor suggests that much of this film could take place on Earth. Okay, now, keeping the adventure grounded on Earth isn't totally unusual. In fact, 3 of Star Trek's biggest box office successes, The Voyage Home, First Contact, and Star Trek 2009, all have scenes or major moments set on our planet. But what makes this rumor intriguing is the idea that the movie might focus on Earth's first contact with alien life. According to Star Trek canon, first contact with an alien species was a peaceful meeting with the Vulcans, a cornerstone moment in Trek history. So, if this new film adjusts that origin story, it would mean either a major retcon to established Trek lore or the creation of a whole new continuity, something entirely separate from both the Prime timeline and the Kelvin universe created by J.J. Abrams' reboot films. Furthermore, J.J. Abrams has hinted that this new adventure will chart a course into territories Star Trek has never explored before. We're looking at new characters, fresh stories, and a mission designed to push the boundaries of the galaxy even further than before. Who's the real Star Trek enemy? Star Trek 4 is still holding course, even though we've been waiting since Star Trek Beyond took flight back in 2016. Back then, everything looked set. Early in 2022, J.J. Abrams was on board as producer, and Matt Shakman was ready to take the captain's chair as director. The warp engines were firing up, and it seemed like the ship was prepped for an adventure into new frontiers. But then, in August 2022, Shockman made a surprise exit, leaving Starfleet to take on Marvel's Fantastic Four. This switch left both the fans and the crew of Star Trek IV in suspense, drifting in uncertainty, wondering which star system our journey would explore next. By September, Paramount had pulled Star Trek IV from its release schedule entirely. For many, this felt like being caught in a tractor beam. The ship halted, and the mission temporarily out of sight. But, as I said earlier, everything is setting up right now, even the cast of Star Trek IV. Alongside Chris Pine's Captain Kirk, we'll see Zachary Quinto returning as Spock, Simon Pegg as Scotty, and the rest of the crew, gearing up to beam back aboard the USS Enterprise. Zoe Saldaña is eager to return as Leoitrit Nyoda Uhura in a potential Star Trek IV. She said, "I still have hope. I had a wonderful experience every single time I was part of that team." Reports suggest Saldaña is already signed on to reprise her role in the next film. She's shared some thoughts on where she'd like to see Uhura's journey go to. Saldaña hopes for Uhura to take on more leadership within the crew, showing her strength and capabilities in new ways. And, of course, she's interested in exploring more of the complex and evolving relationship between Uhura and Spock. Not only that, Carl Urban as the ever-sarcastic Bones and John Cho as the steadfast Sulu will be back again. It feels like assembling Starfleet's finest, ready to explore the stars together once more. Even though the cast hasn't seen the script yet, Carl Urban's enthusiasm is palpable. He calls their group the best, hang, and it's easy to sense the bond they share, just like a Starfleet crew that's navigated countless missions together. Right now, things may still be uncertain, with details shifting like a ship, adjusting course mid-space, but that excitement remains strong. There's even talk of Chris Hemsworth coming back as Kirk's father in a story that could involve time-warping twists. Hemsworth had once stepped away, saying the storyline wasn't quite strong enough. Yet, he hasn't closed the door entirely. The chance of his return still hovers in the stars, ready to align if the right story pulls him back. The mind-boggling plot of Star Trek IV. The plot of Star Trek IV remains hidden in the nebula, but the Waystar, Trek Beyond, wrapped up, opens up endless possibilities for the journey ahead. Captain Kirk made a defining choice, staying on as commander of the USS Enterprise, rather than taking a promotion to Vice Admiral. Spock, too, chose to stay in Starfleet, rekindling his bond with Uhura and dedicating himself to the mission. Now, the crew stands ready for a fresh voyage aboard a brand new, gleaming USS Enterprise, their previous ship having been lost in battle. With this setup, Star Trek IV could take them anywhere across the galaxy. New planets could be charted, new mysteries unraveled, and maybe even familiar dangers revisited. The possibilities stretch as far as the endless expanse of space, waiting for the crew to boldly explore once more. Will the Star Trek reboot be a success? Star Trek has always had a dedicated fleet of fans, people loyal to the mission, with it coded into their very core to show up for each new journey, each new film. This built-in audience often makes it easier to power up the box office engines, but it's never a guaranteed success. When it comes to a movie reboot, the stakes feel higher. There's less room for error than with a serialized TV show where stories can unfold over time. In a film, every scene, every moment has to be precise, like a well-plotted course through asteroid fields. The strength of the script, the vision of the creative team, and how tightly they all work together will be crucial. Star Trek IV filming and release date. Currently, the project is still prepping to go to warp speed, but with its crew in place, filming could kick off in the first half of 2025. So, while we're still in the early stages, the course is set for a new Star Trek adventure, one that promises to add another star to the franchise's endless constellation. Based on the last Star Trek film, what will happen on Star Trek IV? The third film closes with Captain Kirk turning down a promotion to Vice Admiral, choosing instead to stay exactly where he belongs, at the helm of the USS Enterprise. His loyalty to the ship and crew is unwavering, and this choice keeps him firmly in command. Meanwhile, Spock makes his own big decision, choosing to stay in Starfleet and rekindle his relationship with Uhura. See, these choices set the course for new adventures, opening up endless possibilities for what comes next. This ending means star. Trek 4 can chart any path through the stars, setting a course that could take the crew into new territories or uncharted mysteries. But Chris Pine has his own ideas about where this journey should go. He believes that whatever direction they choose, it shouldn't try to compete with Marvel's universe. This movie has been nearly a decade in the making. Over the years, we've heard everything from Quentin Tarantino's bold ideas to directors joining and leaving like shifts in the space-time continuum. It's been a true roller coaster, or rather, a wild warp speed ride. Now, with Steve Yockey at the helm, working on what's being called the final chapter of the reboot series, things are really beginning to heat up.